Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. We'll kick things off in today's video with a tale from a big box store on its last legs, where clearance chaos met the entitled customer. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. You are going out of business, so give it to me at 50% off. I work at a big box store that's in the middle of going out of business. As you can imagine, the place has been pure chaos lately. People are desperate for deals, grabbing whatever they can and acting like the rules no longer apply. We have signs posted all over the store explaining what's on sale and how much the discounts are. Furniture? Furniture's 10% off. That's it. We can't change that, no matter how much people argue about it. So this woman comes storming in one afternoon. She makes a beeline straight for the furniture section, totally ignoring everything else. I'm at the front, checking out customers, but I can see her eyeing a bed and dresser set. After a minute or two of looking it over, she marches right up to the register, cuts in front of 4 people who've been waiting patiently, and slaps her hand on the counter. "I want that bed," she says, pointing back at the furniture section. Trying to stay polite, I say, "I can have someone from furniture come over and help you out. I'll need the tag on it, so let me call one of them to bring it up." I'm still scanning groceries and helping the people who were actually in line, mind you. A few minutes later, my coworker from furniture brings up the tag. We explain to the woman that the bed is part of a set. The bed, headboard, dresser, and nightstands are sold together. We can't break it up. That's just how it's marked in our system. "I want to check out now," she says. I gesture to the line and say, "Ma'am, you'll need to wait in line like everyone else." She glances at the line, lets out an exaggerated sigh, and says, "Fine," in a tone that suggests she's doing us a favor by complying. While she waits, I can hear her grumbling under her breath the whole time about how she's in a rush and this is ridiculous. Meanwhile, I'm checking out groceries, random odds and ends, helping customers who were polite enough not to shove their way to the front. Finally, it's her turn. I ring up the set, give her the price, and she just stares at me. "I don't want the set, I want the bed and headboard only," she says. I explain again that it's a set and we can't split it up. That's how it's inventoried and tagged. "Well, you're going out of business, so just give it to me at 50% off, she snaps. I calmly explain, "That's not how it works, ma'am. All furniture is 10% off. I can't change that." She's getting louder, drawing attention from people nearby. I offer, "If you'd like, I can have furniture check if we have something similar that's just a bed and headboard." "No, I looked online and nothing else is close to what I want. Just give me the bed because I'm not leaving without it." At this point, I've had enough of her attitude. I radio furniture again, letting them know what's going on, and say okay to her. Then I slide over to the next register, call up the next customer, and start ringing up their stuff. Her face when I did that? Priceless. She was furious, yelling at me about how unprofessional I was. But honestly, I wasn't going to keep holding up the line for someone who refused to listen. The furniture guy came over and tried to reason with her, but she wasn't having it. She just kept yelling about how she was glad we were going out of business and this was why she never shopped here anyway. Then she stormed out in a huff. A few hours later, one of my coworkers came up to me, smirking, and showed me a picture on his phone. It was of a bed and headboard that were sitting so low in the back. Apparently it was tagged wrong in the system, sold individually, not as a set. If she'd been patient, if she'd just let us help her instead of demanding and shouting, we could have found exactly what she wanted. But no, she was too busy trying to bully her way into a deal that didn't exist, and instead of walking away with the bed she wanted, she walked away empty-handed. Funny how that works. I've never understood how people who rage around think that it's necessarily always going to get the best deal. Well, to be fair, I guess sometimes it works and they keep doing it. But I'm actually an old lady, and I find simply being pleasant with people from whom I want help is most likely to get me what I need. And our second story. Sure, I'll go get my work tablet at 10 p.m., right after I summon my magic unicorn. So some background. I currently work for a retailer, one of the big 4 cell companies I'll refer to as Cell Town, in a small country town. We try to emphasize customer service, but there's a point where the yelling just becomes too much. I'll refer to the demon of this story as Carrie, though I didn't get her name, and of course I'll refer to myself in the first person. I'd closed the shop about an hour before the events of this story, so I was still in my company polo as I browsed the aisle of a store with a yellow star that I'll refer to as Allmart. Then this shorter lady walked up to me, seemingly pleasant. "Carrie, excuse me, do you work at Celltown?" Me: "Yes, ma'am, though I just closed the store an hour ago." C: "Oh, all right. I just wanted to see if you could help me pay my bill." Me: "Oh, well, if you have the Carrier's app, you can pay through there." C: "Oh, great. I'll have to download that." After that, I smiled and wished her well. "Feel free to come by, blah, blah, blah," the usual customer service stuff. I ended up grabbing what I needed from the store and went to the register, where I ended up talking with an old coworker as I worked at Allmart years before I joined Celltown. As I was just about to put my card in the reader to pay, Carrie runs up in a huff. C: "Excuse me, there's a problem with my bill." She shows me her phone. "This is $30 higher than what I normally pay." Me: "Oh, well, if you come in tomorrow, we can..." She cuts me off. "I don't want to come in tomorrow. Help me now." My eyes widened at her abruptness. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I can't help you without my company tablet," I say, paying for my stuff and putting my bags in my cart. C: "Well, go get it." Me: "I can't. The shop is locked and closed. Once we close for the night, we can't go back in until we reopen." C: "Well, you have to make an exception. I need help now." Me: "Like I said, I can't without..." C: "Oh, shut up." She shoved me. I typically can deal with an angry customer, but once things get physical, I try to end things as soon as possible. I give a smile down at the lady and nod. Me: "You're right. I'm sorry. I'll be back with my tablet. Just give me a few minutes." C: "You better hurry." I gave her my fake phone number, which is just a hotline that plays All Star by Smash Mouth. I'll post the number in the comments. After that, I left with my things and went home. I haven't seen Carrie since our exchange from about a week ago. My friend messaged me saying she was kicked out of Walmart a few minutes later, apparently for trying to steal some Celltown gift cards. Leads me to think that she did normally pay the $30, but was trying to get it taken off for the month. But, oh well. At least I haven't had to deal with her since. Wow. A reply: "I can't make an exception for you. If I did, I would have to make an exception for everyone else. The other issue is if anyone walked into the store at this time, the alarm would sound, police would be called, franchise management would be called, I'll lose my job, and we'll both go to jail. No thanks. Have a good evening." And our next story. Apparently being nice means strangers get to sit in your car now. So this is the story. I'm a sound engineer by trade, usually recording bands in studios or working live shows. So last Saturday, I was going to record a band in a studio in the neighboring city, about an hour away. So I collect some microphones from home and be on my way. To set the scene, there are two buildings that are important for the story. One building's a residential building and one a place where certain companies work, in which the studio lies. The residential building has an open parking lot where you pay hourly. This is a perfect space for me to park because of proximity. So when I park and go to get my parking ticket, I hear some woman shouting from across the parking lot through the music in my headphones. I figure she might need help with something, so I walk over and try to figure out what the problem is. This lady was about 50 or 60 years old, but it became very clear very fast that she did neither speak English nor Swedish, but instead a foreign language I did not understand. In her gestures, I could interpret that she wanted to get into the residential building, which I did not have a key to. I tried to gesture this, but the message apparently didn't come through. So she saw my car key I held in my hand. She pointed to that and gestured for me to open. I gestured that this key is my car key and not the key she needs. But instead, she reaches for the key in my hand, but I quickly pull my hand away and now decide to walk off and get my parking ticket. I put my earphones on and got my ticket. I then proceeded to put my ticket in my car and then walked from the driver's side to the passenger side, where I had my mics. I then hear my driver's side door fly open, and the woman sets herself on my driver's seat. I get so stunned, I just yell out, "What are you doing? Get out of my car!" in various forms. She keeps rambling on in her native tongue, so I take my stuff and put myself in front of her and tried to gesture for her to move the F out of my car. Since she never decided to move, I called the cops, and a few minutes later they arrived and managed to get her to move from my car. Once she was out, I don't know what happened. I moved down to the studio and was just so dumbfounded about what happened. Edit. To clarify why I called the cops and didn't pull her out myself, I'm a little larger than the average person, and in my country, I might have gotten into trouble if I would have been too harsh. Even if you're speaking different languages, why would someone think it's perfectly fine to sit in someone else's car? Especially while said someone is still there and still going through the car? Did this woman have mental issues or something? And our last story. New neighbors treated my land like a public park. I live in an area where the property lines don't always make sense. It's like whoever mapped them out had a few too many and decided to draw borders at random. That's exactly the case with my house and the neighbors. All of our houses are roughly the same size, but I somehow lucked into owning nearly 90% of the land behind the row of houses stretching all the way to the edge of the woods. Meanwhile, the neighbors have little more than a narrow strip directly behind their homes. The portion of land right behind my house is fenced off. That's our private garden, and my wife and daughters love tending to it. But beyond that, the field has always been open. I've let the local kids use it for football. They're good about it. They always ask first. They clean up after themselves, and they know if I say it's time to wrap it up, they don't argue. Recently, I put in a pool way at the back of my property. I had it properly fenced for safety, especially with so many kids around. Thought that'd be the end of it. That's where the problems began. A new family moved in a few months back. At first, I tried to be welcoming, but they seemed to immediately assume the open field was some kind of public park. Their kids started trampling through my wife's flower beds, wrecking vegetable patches, and generally treating the place like their personal playground. The first few times, I figured maybe they just didn't realize. I walked over, introduced myself, and politely explained, "Hey, just so you know, this is all my property. I'm fine with people using it respectfully, but I do ask permission first." They nodded, made the right noises, but nothing changed. A few days later, I came home to find they dragged their grill onto my land and were having a full-blown picnic out there. Tables, chairs, coolers, the works. Again, I walked over and calmly reminded them, this isn't public space. I need you to move this back to your property. They just waved me off, acted like I was being unreasonable. Then came the final straw. I got home from work one afternoon and saw their kids had climbed over the pool fence and were splashing around. I was stunned. I got them out safely and went straight to the parents, who didn't seem remotely bothered. Their response? "Oh, we thought it was a public pool. It's at the back of the land. We figured it was for everyone." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I gave them a firm final warning, thinking surely they'd back off. But no. I went away for 3 days on business, came home to find they'd built a fire pit right on my field, surrounded by empty beer cans and trash. That was it. I was done. I called in a buddy who owns a fencing company, ordered the materials, and within a week, my entire property was walled off. No more open field, no more free football pitch. When curious neighbors asked what was going on, I didn't sugarcoat it. Ask the new folks why the kids can't play here anymore, I said. They ruined it for everyone. Now the new family's treated like pariahs. The neighborhood kids have turned on their kids, blaming them for the loss of the football field. And honestly, I feel bad. I didn't want it to come to this. I like seeing the kids play out there, and I enjoy being part of a neighborly community. But what else could I do? I gave warning after warning, and they treated my land and my family space like it was theirs for the taking. Actions have consequences, and now they're living with them. It's your property, and you were very understanding. Also, I don't think it's bad you tell people who ask you whose behavior it was that ultimately made you decide to wall it off. It's the truth. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.